Today is October 1st, 2025, and I have some very upsetting news released today on the economy.
Contraction, not good. Negative 32,000 is the headline number for ADP, which is obviously the worst in quite some time. Goods producing jobs down by 3,000 within that category. Construction off by 5,000. People have been waiting for that. Manufacturing down by 2,000. 28,000 service industry jobs, ADP says, were lost. 19,000 in leisure and hospitality, and professional and business services down 13,000. The only real positive category is education and health services, which...
In addition, August was revised down another 4,000 negative jobs. We are at unemployment of 4.3% average, but as high as 6% in states such as DC, California. We have lost over 1 million jobs right now. Right now, the federal government is shut down day one. Nobody is getting paid. Some people are working and not getting paid. Others are going to be furloughed, laid off without pay. This is going to be catastrophic to the economy because the federal government is the largest employer. When you go to the airport, TSA, the FAA, when you go for your Veterans Affairs benefit, applying for loans for student loans, vegetables are up 38%. Foreclosures are up 18% higher than last year. Auto repossessions are skyrocketing. Credit scores are the worst since 2008. Please get your finances in order and please call your elected officials.
Greetings, my lovely people. And once again, welcome back to my channel. So when Donald Trump ran for presidency, his slogan was simple: I'll make America great again. So for many, they were hoping that he would bring back prosperity, protect American jobs, and restore the so-called American dream. But here we are today. Millions of Americans feel that that dream feels more like a nightmare because groceries cost more than ever. Rent and housing prices are out of reach for many working families. Our medical bills and insurance are swallowing paychecks. Businesses are shutting down one after the other. So people are asking themselves a painful question: how much longer can we survive in this economy? Let's have a look.
60% of the American public is about to lose everything they have. People living paycheck to paycheck are about to go broke. The GDP numbers came in yesterday, and of course the economy receded, which I predicted 2 months ago, and people laughed. Mark my words, the second quarter is going to be far worse. Tariffs on Chinese products at 145% are about to kick in, which means everything you buy from China on Amazon or elsewhere is about to go through the roof. Grocery store shelves are starting to empty at Walmarts across the country, and of course grocery prices continue to soar. People who've been financing groceries on credit are starting to default on those payments. We are about to see an economic catastrophe. If you're in this 60% that has little or no money, please stop spending money. Protect your family. Trump does not care about you. Even if you voted for him, he's a billionaire. He won't suffer, but you and your family will. Please protect yourself.
America is collapsing before our very eyes. Restaurants are closing their doors for good in my city at a record pace. They're blaming it on a slow season, but I think it's something else. You can't tell me the amount of abandoned strip malls that I drive by on a daily basis is normal. I know you've seen it too. All these places just get replaced with the capybara cafe de jour or a flower store to placate the masses, if you know what I mean. There used to be 24-hour diners, family-owned restaurants, even bookstores, I don't know, third spaces. Now, nothing. Luxury apartments that sit vacant forever. Grocery stores that have been closed for 10 years. So much wasted space in empty parking lots until some TikTok trend comes, opens for 6 months, and then that closes too. I know I'm not alone in this, but yet every single time I bring it up, I get all the bots in my comments telling me the economy's never been better. But I ask for who? Like 100 people at the top? So the billionaires are doing great. I don't care. People like you and me, we're struggling out here. All my friends live in vans. And if we are lucky enough to have apartments or houses, we're living behind locked doors and closed blinds because there's no community here anymore. Restaurants are just the beginning. They're the canary in the coal mine. Once they're gone, so are all of our meeting places, our birthday parties, our community, and third spaces. They're not just a place to buy food. they're a pulse of the neighborhood. And also, as a live singer, something hugely important to my job. I used to sing 5 nights a week. Now I'm lucky if I can find a Sunday night gig. So I'm just here to say, if this is what a booming economy sounds like, it must be the sound of doors slamming shut. And I don't know about you.
The United States is about to break and nobody is willing to talk about it. If we as a country don't make a change here, we are cooked. The media doesn't give it the attention it deserves. Politicians won't say it out loud, but our country, it's drowning in over $36 trillion in debt. And here's the terrifying part. We're now spending more than $1 trillion a year just to pay the interest. Not the debt itself, just the interest. It takes my breath away whenever I talk about it. Imagine you maxed out your credit card that you have, then took out more just to cover your monthly payments. That's what we're doing as a government and as a country. And when the bill comes due, it's you who's going to pay the price. Higher taxes, slash services, or worse, God forbid, a financial collapse that would make 2008 look like a hiccup. If we don't change course here, folks, if we don't stop printing money, overspending, and kicking this can down the road, your future, our future, won't be stable jobs and affordable homes. It'll be layoffs, rent that you can't afford, and retirement accounts that don't mean anything. Heck, some of you are saying right now, I'm already feeling the effects. They'll try to distract you with these headlines and drama.
So it's really bad when business leaders and investors are silently screaming that this administration is tanking this entire country. Okay, I had to take a lot of notes here. Do you guys know who billionaire Ray Dalio is? He's the founder of the world's largest hedge fund, and he actually took a big risk to speak out against this administration, their ineptness, and where this country is headed. And he did not use gentle words to describe the fears he has. He gave a stark warning about the state of this country's discourse and the direction of the economy tanking. He said investors and business leaders are afraid to say what a horrible job the Trump administration is doing for fear of retaliation. He calls what he's seeing as a dangerous suppression of economic debate. His statement carries significant weight with foreign governments, central banks, and multiple industries. So it's not like nobody's noticing what he's saying. He calls what's happening an impending debt-induced heart attack that could strike swiftly and severely within the next 3 years, gutting the American economy. He said under Trump, the national debt has climbed to $37 trillion, and investment payments on this debt will consume a large share of the federal budget, meaning our tax dollars are not coming back to us. He said, many in the business world are deeply concerned with the Trump administration's approach to removing the Federal Reserve's independence, and that would pose a very serious danger to the global economy. He cited this administration's autocratic moves by having the government acquire significant stake in the chip maker, Intel. Very true. Calling it evidence that we are moving towards an authoritarianism that existed in the world, around the world, in the 1930s and 1940s. But he circled back to how deadly the silence is by business leaders who are afraid that the orange man will retaliate. He said we're at an economic crisis point where all business leaders need to be screaming what it is they really are seeing and feeling. Now, to be fair, he's the most famous, largest, most powerful one, being the most vocal. But Citadel's billionaire founder, Ken Griffin, has been calling out the administration. For instance, he stated, "Shame on you," to the administration for attacking Walmart just because Walmart expressed concerns about the tariffs. And then BlackRock CEO Larry Fink stated publicly that most CEOs he's met with privately believe the United States has been pulled into a recession under the Trump administration, and they won't state it publicly for fear of political backlash and market repercussions, because this administration is controlling the markets to make Trump and his buddies even more money. And all Trump has to do is post something on Truth Social to affect somebody's stocks, company's stocks, or just have Pam Bondi or somebody file a lawsuit against that company, and it causes the market, that stock, to move around. But I can't believe that these billionaires don't have the balls to say what they're really seeing and really thinking. How pathetic. And people like us who are just barely trying to get by have more balls than them collectively, a millionfold. Anyway, America's getting great.
Many of us here in the US are waking up this morning to our investments and stocks plummeting. I know I made the mistake of checking my account. Trump's tariffs have had a huge, huge impact on the economy and will continue to do so. You know, it's a bad sign when his former vice president, Mike Pence, is speaking out directly against these tariffs and warning that the average American will be losing $3,500 this year as a result of the tariffs. Do you know how many people voted for this administration without even understanding what a tariff is? But do you know who did explain it and did warn over and over? Kamala Harris. She spoke out directly against what is happening now. And yet, here we are.
Trump's tariffs and trade wars didn't bring any relief to Americans, but instead, they made life unbearable. This is because when Trump introduced tariffs, they were sold as a weapon to protect American industries. The idea was that foreign countries like China, Mexico, and Europe would pay the price, but in reality, it wasn't foreign nations that was footing the bill, you know? It was American consumers, American farmers, and American businesses. So what followed? Everyday goods became more expensive. Imported materials skyrocketed in price because businesses had to pay more. So they pressed that burden and cost down to consumers. That's why your rent, your gas, groceries, and your gas now feels like a luxury instead of necessities. Meanwhile, wages haven't kept up. Workers are grinding longer hours for less purchasing power. And while billionaires and corporate giants find loopholes to keep profiting, average Americans are crushed under debt, student loans, medical bills, credit cards, and mortgages. The American dream was supposed to mean security, stability, and opportunity. But instead, many people feel trapped in a system where no matter how hard they work, they can never get ahead, you know? That's why many feel the system is broken beyond repair. The issue of homelessness, it is becoming a very major concern, you know? It is growing in every major series. Our families are torn in between paying rent or buying groceries, which have become unaffordable. So today's America stands at crossroads. Will it continue down a path of collapse, division, and despair, or will its people rise up to demand leaders who actually serve them, not just the wealthy and powerful? Because at the end of the day, politicians and slogans can't make America great again. Only the people can. But first, the people must decide how much of this collapse are they willing to endure. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Have a good one. I'll see you in the next video.